Hello, welcome to this bi-weekly, every other week Facebook Live that I do, Instagram Live. Hello, we just got started. So, if this is your first time coming, what I do here is I answer a question that somebody in the group has posed or somebody has asked me through social media. And it's also your opportunity to ask any questions that you have live with me or comments, anything else that's on your mind. Hello, everyone. So I'm doing this on Facebook and Instagram. So if you notice me looking at two cameras, that's why. I forgot to feed my dogs. Oh, I hope they're going to be good during this. Okay, so today we are talking about letters of recommendation. And if this is your first time with me, I am a wildlife biologist. I've been in this field for almost 20 years now. And I like to give advice on this career because I found that what is out there is outdated, and quite honestly, a lot of it is incorrect as well. So I like to set the record straight. I like to be there for you guys, and do these Q&As where you get to ask me whatever you want. Okay, so today we are talking about letters of recommendation. And the question that I got was, are they important? But we're going to go over some other stuff because I know people are going to think this as well, just in addition to understanding if letters of recommendation are important. So, for those of you who don't know, letters of recommendation are needed if you're going to go to graduate school. They are needed if you are applying for grants, scholarships, jobs too. They can be needed for jobs as well. So it's really important to have them. And the time that I used them first, I believe, was graduate school. That was the main one that I needed them for. So first let me answer the question. Are letters of recommendation important? And the answer is yes. They are very, very important. And actually, I have done a lot of reviewing of grants and other things. And a strong letter of recommendation is something that is really helpful in determining who should maybe get the grant or whatever when it is close between two different people. So they're very, very important. And what I wish I would have known before I started asking for letters recommendation is that if you are early on in your career, so if you're in school, especially like a freshman, start thinking now about those letters recommendation, because that is going to encourage you to get close relationships with people. So that's what I did when, or actually, no, I didn't do that when I was an undergrad. And then when it came time to ask for letters of recommendation, I kind of panicked. And I went to a large state school. I went to the University of Buffalo, which had literally 30,000 students. So my classes were all these gigantic lectures for the most part that had 200, 300 students. And then the people that I was close to was the teaching assistants. But you don't, so these are the people who teach the labs, but they're not the professors, and they are graduate students. So you don't want to ask for letters of recommendation from graduate students. You want to ask from people who are your professors, people who were your employers, and you want to get them in that profession. Ideally, if it's something for graduate school, you want to have them have a PhD as well. So if you worked in a lab or volunteered in a lab and you didn't work with a professor directly, again, I wouldn't ask the graduate student, but you could ask a postdoc in that lab. So if you are in school, in your classes, really take the time to develop a relationship with a professor. And how you can do that is really easy. It's by asking them questions. So each professor needs to have office hours to make themselves available to help students. This is a really great time for you to develop that relationship with the professor. And so I would recommend that you go to the office hours and ask for help with things. And I know it sounds really scary, it seems super intimidating, but trust me, they actually like it when you show up. They like helping their students. So you don't feel stupid, don't feel like you have dumb questions. Go, they're there to help you out. And even if you're not struggling that much, honestly, I would go to the office hours and maybe ask them more questions about the material. Or again, just like if you're not understanding something completely, then I would definitely go to clarify, just so you can develop that relationship with them, and do that throughout the semester. So then when you ask for a letter of recommendation from them, they're not like who are you? You don't want to ask letters of recommendation from people who don't know you well. So for example, when I was in that lecture of 200, 500 students, if I went up to the professor and I never talked to them and I asked them for a letter of recommendation, but say I got, a really great grade in their class, they're not going to write me a good letter. And even if they wrote me a good letter, like in terms of recommending me and said that they did really well in my class, they still can't include details. And that's really what makes a letter of recommendation great, is those specific details about you and how you are set apart from other students. So honestly, I have had my friends, I don't think this has ever happened to me, but I've had my friends where students have come up to them and asked them for a letter of recommendation, and they knew they couldn't write them a good letter. And by good, like I said, it doesn't mean that they didn't want to recommend them, but that they couldn't provide details in their letters to make it stronger. So get those relationships, start doing that now, so you have lots of options to go to when you need your letters. Another tip is, when you're actually ready to ask for letters of recommendation, that you provide the person bullet points of some of the ways that you've excelled and the ways that you've excelled with them. So with that experience, so either in that class, or if you're volunteering somewhere, or if you have a job, it's a great way to help out your mentor. So it creates less work for them, because writing a letter of recommendation is work. And so you want to make sure you ask somebody with good credentials, who's well respected in the field, has a doctorate or a master's if you can. Ideally doctorate if it's for graduate school, and again, somebody who works in this field. You're not going to ask like if you worked at, I don't know, Walmart, and you were, say, even if you had were really high up there, you're not going to ask somebody there. You want to ask somebody in your field. There's something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember right now. I've also had the case too where some of my friends have had students ask them for letters of recommendation, and they didn't know what to do because they couldn't write them a good letter, meaning they weren't going to recommend them. And sometimes that will happen where they actually say I'm not going to write you a letter because I can't write you a good letter. That does happen. So make sure you're asking people who really believe in you and really support you and have really seen your best work. And so that is, when I advertised this, I said, let me make sure I'm answering all the questions. What I wish I knew, and how to ask for them. So how to ask for them, just ask. There's no secret to it. I know it's scary. I know it's awkward, but, just say, I am interested in applying for this grant, for this scholarship, to help move me forward towards this goal. Explain what you're applying for, why you're applying for it, and if they would, please write you a letter of recommendation. Again, when they agree to write you a letter of recommendation, include your resume, your CV, include some key points of things that you accomplished in your work with them, so it makes them really easy for them. And make sure you give them enough time too. That is huge because you don't want to ask them, like a week before it's due. You want to give them as much time as possible. We're all busy. So as soon as you know you're going to apply for one of those things, then go ahead and start asking for those letters of recommendation. From our side, from the people writing the letters of recommendation, like I said, I know it's awkward to ask. I hated asking too, but just bite the bullet, do it. You can ask in person. You can ask over email. I don't think it matters that much. But from our side, it's part of our job. It's just something we know we have to do. So don't feel bad about it. I know it's hard to say, like, don't feel awkward about it. But from our side, it's something that we totally expect. And we're not like, oh my God, like, no, I don't want to write a letter. If you've done great work for us, if you've been a great student, then they're more than happy to write a letter for you. So that's all I have about letters recommendation. Anyone have any other questions or anything? I hope you guys are all having a great end of the summer, a great Labor Day weekend. I am doing all of my podcasts this month about graduate school. So if you missed the first one, I talk about what graduate school is like. And spoiler alert, it's nothing like undergrad. A lot of people are really surprised to find that out. So if I don't have any more questions, I am going to sign off for tonight. I hope you guys have a great holiday tomorrow and a great week this week. And if you want to see some of your questions answered on this live, please submit them to me or please post them in the Facebook group, Getting a Job in Wildlife Biology, what it's like and what you need to know. Thanks, guys, and see you next time. Thanks for joining me live. Bye.